no ordinary episode.
Now, we have escaped the studio and we are coming to you from Parramatta in the heart of Sydney.
And we are here because today is special. Today we celebrate all of the wonderful men in our lives, particularly the fathers right around Australia.
That's right, it's all about the dads today here on the House of Wellness.
We learn how the joys and challenges of being a dad have changed over the years through the eyes of one family.
It's just one of those things in life, you wouldn't give it up for the world.
We meet a father who turned a near-death experience with his child into a lifetime passion raising funds for kids' hospitals.
Okay, what's a good way of trying to make some money and give back a little bit? It got a little bit out of hand after that.
And men going toe-to-toe with Mother Nature in the battle against baldness.
You feel thinning at the top of your head, then you're a right candidate.
If you're a dad, you have a dad, or you know a dad, take a seat and stay with us while we celebrate the strength, the passion and health of Australian men.
So let's all get well, stay well, live well and look fabulous.
Right here in the House of Wellness. Hello, it is currently Ladies' Day here on the set while we talk about the men in our lives.
Well, hello Zoe and hello Parramatta. Haven't we got a fabulous crowd here? Well, I am really excited. As you can see, the ladies have taken over the show and for good reason.
Yes, absolutely we have, although it's not really about us. In fact, we are here to celebrate healthy fathers all across Australia. That is our plan. And how can we celebrate the fathers of Australia without our two favourite dads by our side? So welcome Ed and Gerald.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
So lovely. Now, of course, Ed, you have two gorgeous boys, Remy and Hayden.
Yeah.
What does fatherhood mean to you?
It's a great question. You know, they're the only creatures I've ever seen take their first breaths.
What an honour.
Oh,
When you
I
put it
know.
like that, that's
And I did all the dad thing. I cut the cord while they were being born. I've loved them from the first moment. So it's my greatest achievement. I know it sounds corny, but we have the best fun together. Thank you. We have the best fun together, skiing, playing tennis, doing great stuff. So it really is great to be a dad.
And Gerald, you know, you're the seasoned father. You've got three older girls.
Yes.
How has fatherhood changed you?
Well, I'm very lucky because not only a father, but in fact a grandfather. So 3 girls, 4 grandsons.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've got a little bit of balance.
Whole tribe.
I feel very special.
absolutely. And later, Ed, you're going to be sitting down to talk dad advice with 2 special guests.
Yeah, I think it might be Bring Your Hubby to Work Day.
It
because
is.
NRL superstar Benji Marshall is going to join us here on the show. By the way, celebrating his first Father's Day, here he is with little Foxy, 6 or 7 months old now. He's such a cutie.
Your papa.
Sweet.
And indeed, oh, what a special one, his first Daddy Day. And then joined by television royalty guys, if you do not mind. Ray Martin will be joining us on the show as well. Some dad advice and man tips, so we cannot wait for that.
Absolutely. But first, a question for all of us here. How important is appearance to you? Now, be honest.
Look, it's really important for me to feel good internally, and I think that radiates on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about hair, I mean, it plays a massive role in that, right?
Look, hair really does mean a big deal to me.
Yeah, and you know what? My whole outfit revolves around my hair.
Well, you have fantastic hair.
And you know what? When it's dirty, I just put it up in a top knot.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
So that's how we know
when
you
yeah,
have dirty
hair. Not now.
So, hair first, outfit second. I'm much the same, to be
I
honest.
can,
Yes.
I can tell
agree.
the lovely shirt.
But imagine the stress of starting to lose your hair, the toll it would take on, say, not only your appearance, but your confidence.
Absolutely. And I guess that's why hair loss is such a big issue for some men, especially when you consider half of them will experience significant balding by the age of 50.
Wow.
But you know, it doesn't have to always be that way, as Bianca Chatfield explains.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
I think hair's overrated.
Hair loss is a battle every man faces as he ages.
The more hair I lose, the more head I get. So, yeah.
From the wild flowing styles of his youth
I had one of those undercuts when I was back in a kid, long and shaved up. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
to the last chance comb-overs of his middle age.
Maybe I could transplant some of my beard into my head.
The average man loses 100 strands of hair every single day.
I don't want to go out tonight like this. It's just embarrassing.
But while regular hair loss is a common and natural phenomenon, severe losses can trigger high stress levels, reduce sex drive, and even depression. As a woman, I have the luxury of doing whatever I like with my hair to fit my personality. I can have it long and curly or short and straight. I can even dye it a radical colour. And the same can be said for men. They can do whatever they like with their hair. That's if they have any. Did you know 50% of Australian men will suffer some kind of hair loss by the age of 50? And the thought of looking like this for the rest of their lives is pretty confronting. When a man begins to show signs of losing his hair, it's an odds-on bet his mates will be there to help him out with a few heartfelt words of support like,
"G'day, woolly locks."
Or the always thoughtful,
"Hey, Melonhead."
The reason, of course, is that humour is the best way to embrace the fact that significant balding affects about 1 in 5 Aussie men in their 20s, about 1 in 3 in their 30s, and half of all men 50 or older. Men will do anything to prevent going bald. Some things work, some things don't. But before we explore the options, we need to find out what causes male hair loss in the first place. The average man's scalp contains about 100,000 hairs, with each individual hair surviving for an average of 4 to 5 years, before falling out and being replaced by fresh hair growth. However, thanks to genetics, for some men, this process slows right down and the hairs growing from the follicles become thinner and shorter with each growth cycle. So what causes all of this? Well, Professor Rodney Sinclair is a world leader in hair disease and conducts clinical research in hair loss. What causes hair loss?
It's pretty much universal. It's probably about 90% genetic, 10% environmental. So what determines whether you go bald is which genes you've got, how many of those genes you've got, and the combination of those genes.
A recent German study by the University of Bonn found that men with certain genes inherited from their mother were more sensitive to the male sex hormone DHT, resulting in advanced hair loss, supporting the widespread theory that as far as baldness is concerned, men take after their maternal grandfather rather than their father's line.
This is ridiculous.
And one man who knows the challenges of inherited hair loss well is comedian and actor James Liotta.
It does affect your confidence, a fair bit when you're in your early 20s. And it was a little bit sad, actually, because you associate hair loss to becoming older. Because both my granddads lost their hair, my father lost his hair. And every time I went to get a haircut, every single hairdresser, every barber, even now, has their own shampoo, their own lotion that's meant to strengthen your hair and try this, try that. I don't know.
You don't have to treat baldness, it's not a disease.
Yeah.
But if you want to treat it, if it's getting to the point where you're concerned about the hair loss, it's changing the way you look, it's changing the way you feel, then there are some simple solutions out there. There's prescription medication, Propecia, and that's very good at putting a handbrake on the process, so to speak. There's products you can buy in the hairdressing salon. There's products you can buy over the counter in the pharmacy that can actually stop hair shedding and stimulate some hair growth.
When it comes to over-the-counter hair loss treatments in Australia, it's very much a case of buyer beware. The shonks are out there. So look for the products that are backed by thorough testing, like this one. With 20 years of clinical evidence, the active ingredient in this foam increases the blood circulation to the hair follicles, assisting regrowth.
So Regain is actually for people suffering from hereditary hair loss. So generally, if you feel like you're starting to shed some hair on your pillow, you feel thinning at the top of your head, then you're a right candidate.
I imagine it won't just take a week to work. You've got to use it ongoing.
Absolutely. So in a clinical study, 9 out of 10 men suffering from hereditary hair loss either kept or regrew their hair after 16 weeks.
And so, gentlemen, if you're starting to feel more George Costanza than Casanova and you want your hair loss treatment to work, I'll leave the final word to Professor Sinclair.
If you use it, it works. If you don't use it, it doesn't work. And the problem is a lot of people don't stick at it long enough to get the benefit. But if you do stick at it, you will get the benefit.
Well, that's a wonderful story by Bianca, who has a fabulous head of hair, incidentally, which is
Glorious.
why we find ourselves now in the Regain tent, Joe.
Yes, because it is a sad fact of nature that you can't stop balding, but with Regain, you can slow the process.
Well, do you know what? Men kind of think it's inevitable when it begins, right? And they think they can't slow it down. But it's good to know you can keep it a little bit longer, right? And we're not talking just men. Some 40% of women also experience hair loss from the age of 50 onwards.
Yes, it can be really traumatic, but what's great about Regain is it is a non-medical procedure. You just rub the foam in like these gentlemen, Graham and Simon, are about to do.
Easy. Okay.
Really easy.
Non-intrusive. Fantastic.
Absolutely non-intrusive. While I've got you, by the way, Ed, have you ever had long hair or wanted to have long hair?
No, never wanted it. No.
Oh, I just wonder what was going on in the Regain photo booth.
I mean, I did always want to know what it was like to be in Bon Jovi.
Well, they are touring, you know, but we have lost that mullet wig.
No.
I wonder if you have seen it.
I've not. I have not seen it, Joe. I don't know where it
could have
I
happened
don't know
to
where
it.
could be.
I feel like.
Oh,
look, it's Brian Mannix.
Gerald. Stay with us. We're going to the break. There's plenty more to come as we continue to celebrate fathers right across the country on the House of Wellness.
Later, out with the old and in with the new. One lucky father's stunning makeover. But up next, a father who's raising funds to help all the kids of Australia.
Just being down there on the day is just a special vibe and a special feeling about it.
We're celebrating fathers of Australia, so stay with us. We are the House of Wellness. Welcome back to the House of Wellness. We are here in Sydney's Parramatta celebrating the fathers of Australia, and Ed is on a bike.
Yeah, well, the idea is to focus on how long we should brush our teeth, morning and night. So I'm going to be pedaling for the exact amount of time. So if you could just hurry things along.
Okay, so you've been going for 50 seconds, and it is a great question, Ed. How long should we brush our teeth? We asked our audience members today. Here's what they said.
Yeah, 10 seconds. 10, 15 maybe. Done.
A minute 30. About a minute.
You know what? That is so interesting, Gerald.
Yes. Well, the problem is, Zoe, none of us realise how long we should be cleaning our teeth. That's the issue.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
and
that's the idea of this demonstration.
Absolutely. So what happens if we don't brush our teeth for long enough?
2 words, Zoe. Tooth disease, gum disease, all sorts of issues.
Yes.
And it can be avoided. Dr. Luke, our dentist, says use an electric tooth.
Oh, and we're
up to about 90 seconds. Should I stop?
No, keep going.
Okay, good selfie though.
That is right. And you know what? We have the Genius, the Oral-B Genius, which is literally a genius. It not only tells you to brush for 2 minutes, but it tells you which teeth you've actually missed brushing.
Oh, well, maybe I'm about to stop. Is that what
No, you're not.
Keep going.
You're going to do another 10 seconds. And you don't have gum disease if you're brushing for another 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Hooray!
You did it. 2 minutes is the magic number.
Get the heart machine.
I'll just have a nice refreshing drink.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well done, Ed. That's a really good trick. You know, Emily's 4 years old, and it's hard for her to understand how long 2 minutes is. So I'm going to get her to do that.
Yes, I absolutely love that, and I love this as well. Phil Kearns played rugby for Australia 67 times. He was an icon for the Wallabies, but it's what he does off the field these days that is truly legendary.
My son, Finn, would have been about 16 or 18 months old, was rushed to hospital with suspected meningococcal. We had 5 days in intensive care at Royal North Shore. We slept on the bunk beds that were in there. I think they were straight out of MASH. Whilst the staff and everything were magnificent, it wasn't the most comfortable of stays. And so I thought, okay, what's a good way of trying to make some money and just raise 10 grand and do something and give back a little bit. It got a little bit out of hand after that.
Phil's a larrikin. He was a champion football player and he's a champion bloke. I mean, to come up with this crazy idea of running up a hill that steep to raise a bit of money it did seem crazy.
You know, there was only supposed to be one Balmoral burn, and we've had 18 years, $33 million. And it's become just a remarkable community day. The wheelchair race that we do is just phenomenal. Those guys getting up that hill are just beasts.
There's something ironical about raising tens of millions of dollars for Humpty Dumpty, which is what Phil has done, and then he finds in the middle of that he needs the equipment to save his own daughter's life.
As I drove down the driveway, I didn't see Andy, who was about 15 months at the time. My other son ran out. He said, "You've just run over her." And when I got to Royal North Shore Hospital, I realised that the equipment that was being used on her was Humpty equipment. She's physically perfect. Mentally, she's a 14-year-old girl. She's a pain in the butt.
I love my dad, but I don't say it much. I think my dad's a hero. Definitely, he saved so many little kids' lives and all that stuff.
Just being down there on the day is just a special vibe where someone will spend $1,000 and $200,000 on a piece of equipment to save the life of someone that they'll probably never ever meet.
How truly beautiful Phil Kearns is and the difference he's making to those children's lives.
Absolutely. Now, I know we shouldn't be here. The Brute Man Cave is strictly for men, but we are outside the front and it's all happening here.
Oh, it is. Why on earth would they want us clogging up in there? They've got Graham and Mark being spritzed. They're going to smell beautiful and look great.
Yes, and you gave one man the makeover of a lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, all men need a little bit of TLC, but take a look at the special treatment we gave this deserving dad.
A big part of being a dad is putting the family's needs first, and sometimes that means it can be hard to find time for yourself. Well, being Father's Day, we're about to meet one deserving dad whose family's reached out to us for a little bit of help. And they live just here, so let's go say hello. Brent, g'day, buddy.
There you go.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Don't let the ink, the work boots and the tough guy exterior fool you. Brent and his family have been through the ringer over the last few years. The hammer blow for Brent was being unable to stop his dream of owning his own butcher shop, turning into a personal and financial nightmare.
It's absolutely soul-crushing, you know, to work so hard, 7 days a week. Some of the things you don't think about is missing that time with your kids that you're so focused and concentrated on, and when all that disappears and you feel like you've got nowhere and actually the possibility of losing, you know, our home, ourselves, it's taken me to some of the darkest places I've ever been in my life.
But in spite of all the setbacks, this devoted dad has continued to put everyone else first, no matter the personal toll. Whether it's been scrounging up the money for new clothes, dental visits, or fixing up the in-laws joint to help the family get back on their feet. His wife Melody and the two boys dobbed him into us because they wanted to help him get his mojo back.
It's hard because for the two boys especially, they've seen their dad just go into a shell. And they want this, I think, more than I think he wants it himself. So for them, it's to see their dad shine on the outside.
I wonder if you're going to recognise him in a couple of days' time.
Oh, he's got my heart, so of course I'm going to recognise him. But I hope to see a confident man again, and I want him to smile on the outside.
All right, well, we better get to work and let's see if we can return.
You've got a lot to do.
Time to turn this renovator's delight around.
Tools down. Brent, it's time to go and weave some of the House of Wellness magic.
See you in a few days.
So from the burbs to the big smoke, Brent is now in the very stylish hands of our Joe Stanley.
There's nothing I love more than a project, so I'm excited to get my hands on Brent and take him from high vis to high fashion. And with the help of a few friends, I'm going to spend the day making Brent feel good on the outside. And in my opinion, everything starts with a sharp suit. Brent, have you ever been in a store like this before?
No, never.
Have you seen a visible transformation from the person who walks in, you put a suit on them, and then they walk out?
I have seen that many times. The moment you take them out of the footy shorts and the singlet and you put them into, like, you know, a nice, well-structured suit, they're a completely different person.
You look amazing! Are you a bow tie kind of person?
I didn't think I was, but I don't mind it.
Looks good, but I think we can do better.
That looks amazing. That's the one. Do you love it?
It's beautiful.
OK, Brent's new clothes will certainly make him a new man. But he confessed to me that it's his teeth that are really affecting his self-confidence.
Oh, how can we help? Well, I'm here to hopefully have this addressed.
Brent's missing teeth were caused by a serious car accident, and he's never been able to get them fixed. So it's time for Dr. Luke Cronin to give Brent something to smile about. What impact does that have on you when you're meeting new people?
I do get pulled up with my wife. She notices straight away that I'll stand on the other side of people, so I don't want them to see the gap in my teeth. So I've never been an overly boisterous person, but I've been a confident person, and I'd like to get back to that stage where I've got some self-confidence.
So just going to try this in based on the scans. We'll make a few minor adjustments ahead of the big reveal.
Okay.
OK, let's give Brent's new smile a test drive. Oh, my God, Luke, that is amazing.
Show me this side. Hey, new good side.
All righty, Brent. We've got a new wardrobe. We've got a new smile organised for the big reveal. Now, let's tidy this up a little, yeah?
Let's do it.
OK. We were hoping you could make him look spectacular.
We can do something definitely with that. And with the beard, are you keeping it or are we shaving it all off?
Let's get rid of it.
Get rid of it?
What about your wife? What would she like?
I think she'd definitely like to see a nice, clean-shaven new me.
Well, as you can see, the transformation is almost done. And I can't wait for the big reveal because his family are not going to see him until then. It's going to be wonderful to hear their reactions. But more than anything, I'm looking forward to seeing a brand new, confident Brent because that's what he deserves.
What a journey he's been on.
Absolutely, and we're not done yet. He's off getting the final touches on his transformation.
Hurry up, I want to see it.
Oh, because the most exciting thing is his family is here, his beautiful wife Melody and his 3 gorgeous kids. They've only just arrived. They haven't seen him for 3 days. It's going to be a big reveal.
It is. But up next, we have Ed and Zoe, nutritious to delicious, boy style today for the fathers.
Thank you, girls. Well, do you know what I reckon the ideal dad's day would be? Brekkie in bed after sleep in, then off to some finals footy, maybe eating a couple of pies and chips. Probably not the best option for us,
Look,
though.
Dad might like it, but it's a nightmare for his body. So I want to show you some unhealthy versus healthy alternatives.
Okay.
Classic fried up breakfast, but look at the calorie content.
Wow.
The sodium is through the roof. Bad for heart health.
Okay, better option is...
The alternative is the acai berry bowl. Bang on trend. Tastes amazing, but you can see the calories are a quarter.
Cool.
Sodium, really, really healthy for you, but it's got all these antioxidants, so it's going to keep Dad healthier for longer.
That's really nice. You guys try some of these. Come over here, because now if we're thinking about finals footy, what are some options we get at the game? Some bad choices that we often see.
All right, so the classics, your fried foods, your fish, your burgers, your, sausage rolls. But have a look at this. Sodium. This is the one that I... Come on.
Yep,
sodium, too much, trans fats, just simply too much. When it's so easy to have healthy alternatives.
Okay. There's some sausage rolls here. What have they got?
So we've got chia seeds in them, and we've got lots of veg in them as well.
Yeah.
The burger is to die for, but it's a guac. So I've got avocado, chili, tomato, coriander.
Bash it up.
But the little kind of boost that most people don't think to add is something called spirulina.
Right.
So spirulina, green in colour, looks like the
Let's have
avo.
a look at this.
But it is full of good nutrition.
You sneaky little chef, you, and do the numbers. Really good
So
stuff.
calories high, but the thing is, it's the fats. It's full of these good fats as opposed to the bad fats.
All right.
Really, really easy.
We'll hand out some of these samples. You'll enjoy those, and they'll have dads fit enough to see the finals next year as well. If you want those recipes, just Google healthy recipes on House of Wellness, and you'll find them. We'll take a quick break. We are celebrating dads right across the country. I need some more guac. See you in a second.
Coming up, we're talking to 3 generations of dads about the special job of being a father.
As much as things change over the generations, there are some common themes that still stay the same.
Later, the big reveal. We show off the new Brent to his family. Stay with us. We're celebrating everything about fathers here on the House of Wellness.
Oh, you're so strong. Welcome back, everybody. It's all happening here at this special edition of the House of Wellness, celebrating dads right across the country. And we're at the, INC Sports Nutrition Tent with a very famous family, Zoe Marshall, and NRL legendary player Benji Marshall. Hello, Ben.
Sexy man.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, fair to say, someone in your family has now become more famous than you in the last, say, 6 months or so. Easy to understand why, lots of charisma, quite the package, really big personality.
Beautiful.
Let's have a look at little Foxy.
Oh, Fox.
Ah.
I think it's Zoe.
Oh, it's a bit awkward.
That's cheeky.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Are you guys a bit competitive, as it turns out?
She is, yeah.
Well, when it comes to games, like board games and stuff, I get...
She's a sore loser.
I'll put that to the test in just a sec, mate. Congrats, so big news in your family. Just re-signed with the Tigers for next year?
Yeah, one more year. Well, Zoe actually helped me make the decision and convinced me that I still had a bit left in the tank, so
Tigers
very
fans will
excited
love
to
it.
play on again, yeah.
And as an ambassador for INC Sports Nutrition, it's really important to you and the team.
Well, it is, because I use it to help me train and help recover, and they're with the team as well, so it's a great product.
All right, you guys.
Should we untest the skills?
I want to just see if the silky skills are still intact. We're going to put these two to the test. Come with me. I've set up a little target zone here.
Right.
Benj, we're going to get you to throw the first pass.
Where from?
Hit the target. Oh, about there.
No. Go back.
A bit more. Okay, back a bit more. Are you ready?
Flick pass or normal?
No, flick.
Yeah, flick pass.
Oh, way off.
Missed the target. All right.
You call yourself a footy player. Give me
Wifey,
a go.
let's show how it's done. Let's take.
All right, you ready?
And. Whoa!
Yes! I don't know how to do the flick like this.
What? Two balls went in then.
Oh, wow.
That's
unbelievable.
She's pretty talented.
Quite the result I was thinking we'd get there. Right, well done, you two. Let's go to Joe and Zoe.
I don't know about you, but that looks really sus.
Oh, look, Joe, I like my football, but I've heard that Benji Marshall throws a pretty mean ball, so I think that could be rigged.
A little.
But anyway, let's get back to the real reason we're here today, and that is to celebrate the fathers of Australia.
Yes, absolutely. We wanted to look at how being a father has changed over the years, and what better way to do that than through the eyes of 3 generations of dads from the same family.
This may look like nothing more than a couple of blokes playing with fire, but believe me, it's more, much more.
Well, that's why Greeks invented the hairdryer, right?
Only prepared once or twice a year, the ritual seasoning and roasting of this lamb has been bonding fathers to their sons in this family for generations.
The shifting role of fathers over the decades really is an example of our changing culture. And what better way to explore that than to meet 3 generations of fathers in the one family?
Hello.
Hi.
Meet the fathers of the Katsavos clan. 94-year-old Con, his son John,
For me, being a father means a lot of hard work, a lot of joy.
and his grandson, a father himself now, Dean.
It's just one of those things in life you wouldn't give it up for the world.
In 2018, the modern Australian father can be single or married, self-employed, gay or straight, an adoptive or step-parent, and no longer always the traditional provider. But in the 60s, when old Con Katsavos left the small Greek village he'd lived in all his life and emigrated to Australia with his wife and 3 young kids, the average family home in Australia cost $7,000 and jobs were plentiful.
At age 6, he was in the workforce. He was the breadwinner.
I never discriminated or daughter. Anybody.
So how important is the spit to your family and family time?
It's what brings us together. It's the centrepiece of the family and the extended family. It's what the boys do, and Jack's now watching us do it. He'll eventually get his chance.
Each generation takes a step back and lets the older generation do the hard yakka until they've got no choice in it anymore.
When the Katsavos family arrived in 1968, Con worked hard as a labourer for Vic Rail and with his wife's help managed to buy a house in Richmond for $8,000 that they paid off in just 5 years.
And what qualities do you think have been passed down from your father to you and now to Dean?
Family values, first and foremost. Work ethics that I got from my father. I've been working 60 hours a week for the best part of 40 years.
Where Con's generation was defined by world wars and immigration, John's generation of fathers in the late 70s and 80s experienced huge social changes. Australia's equal opportunity laws saw married women and mothers of young children increasingly return to the workforce. With the cost of living rising and both parents working, John's generation of dads had to pitch in at home more.
I've been entrusted with the cucumber. I can't muck that up. So, practically speaking, what kind of help did he do around the home?
He helped with everything. The children initially, in the kitchen, outside, in the garden as well.
John and his school teacher wife Sue worked hard, gave their two kids a great upbringing and education, and despite at times working 3 jobs, managed to buy their family home for $37,000.
So you certainly felt like the roles of parents were shared?
Definitely shared, yeah.
And so our 21st century father, Dean.
What's different is my grandfather had a village around him to raise his children. Trying to keep that sense of family in a generation where we've become a lot more individualistic, that's a challenge in itself.
For Dean's generation, Australian family life is all about having to work but wanting to parent. And unlike generations previous, the average home price in Melbourne is now close to $1 million. So Dean, who is a lawyer, and his wife Sarah will both have to work full-time for decades to afford a home for their family. But with 1 in 3 Australians now working from home, Dean has a choice.
That's probably the biggest change from one generation to the next. My grandfather didn't have a choice about what he did. My dad was somewhere in between. He still had to do long hours at work, but he still made that time so he could go away on weekends. And for me, we can say, oh, I've got to work from home. It's my turn to look after the kids. But I have that choice. I can be that kind of dad.
And so the Cutsavos men's lamb is finally ready, passed down from father to son for generations. This wonderful backyard ritual not only tastes amazing,
it's so tender,
but symbolises a family's love.
This is what the fuss is over there.
Built on the dedication of these 3 wonderful Aussie fathers.
Family and food.
As much as things change over the generations, there are some common themes that still stay the same. Our sense of belonging, our sense of family, and the lamb on the spit.
What a gorgeous story, and I can just imagine how good that barbecue smelled.
Oh, it was delicious.
Apologies for the little bit of dribble there. Joe, how do you feel the role of men or fathers has changed over the years, though?
Well, I think largely the difference is that men have more time to spend with their kids, but generation to generation, the pressures are different, but the family values are the same.
Yeah, it's got to be a good thing. In fact, in just a sec, we'll be chatting with some very high-profile dads. Benji Marshall's going to join us, and on the other side of the break as well, legendary Ray Martin. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our celebration of fathers here on the House of Wellness, coming to you from Parramatta in Sydney's heartland. Joining me today for some very important dad's advice is our very own father of 2, Ed.
Hello, Joe.
Hello. New dad, Benji Marshall, over there.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And, of course, the legendary father himself, Ray Martin.
Thanks, Joe, very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Oh, what a joy to have you here, Ray. I'm going to go to you first, Ray, for some advice, because your children are grown up, okay, and they're now having their own children. Do you ever get to the point where you feel like you've ticked that box, you've finished fathering, and can you give us some advice as to how to get there?
No advice I'm short on, but it's like I'm sure playing a grand final every week or every day when you've got a child, or having an exam, because when you think you've won, you lose. You go around the corner and something's gone wrong, so you're never in front. You're always with children, you're always the potential for disaster.
Oh, that's good news.
but it's good. It's the best thing I've done, by the way.
Great pep talk, Ray. Great pep talk.
How does that make you feel, Ed? You've got Remy and Hayden, 7 and 11.
Yeah.
So they're at that age where they're really starting to understand who they are.
Yeah.
Have you got advice?
Well, I think the greatest advice I saw was my dad, who let his 5 sons kind of choose who they wanted to be. It's hard to pull back, and I guess you'll feel this soon enough. But to let them make their own mistakes, it's hard to watch, but I think you've got to kind of do that.
Oh, it is a challenge. Oh, so Benji, Fox is 6 months old. What has been the greatest adjustment for you, and how did you work through that?
Yeah, I think adjusting to life, it's not about you anymore. You can be quite selfish when you don't have kids, and then as soon as you have a kid, you realise, well, we have to keep this guy alive and do everything, and you just got to be I try and be as helpful as I can for my wife, because they go through all the struggles and all the pain, and yeah, that's the best advice I can give. Do as much as you can and be there for your wife.
Ray, do you remember that moment when your now adult children were babies?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That moment when the first time in your life you actually got someone who totally depends on you. You hear that little breath in the cot alongside you. Think, well, hang on, he depends on or she depends on me. But the best thing, I mean, being a dad is the best thing by far I've ever done in my life.
And what about being a grandfather?
It's the only thing bad about being a grandfather, you've got to give them back. I don't like, people say the good thing is you give them back, but I wanted to stay. I wished, like the old-fashioned families, that I wish my daughter lived at home with the baby and I could have him all the time.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Benji, you must have had lots of friends who'd already had kids. Did they give you advice before you went into it?
Yeah, the best advice I got was get as much sleep as you can, because once you have the baby, you're not going to get much. And in my house, I don't know if Zoe's mentioned it, but I do the night shift where if the baby wakes up, I have to wake up. So I'm glad I got as much sleep as I can because I don't get much now. So thanks, Zoe.
It's good advice. Ed, you know, being a father now might be very different to when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Can you be a good father all the time? And how do you make choices around discipline and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I was raised by a career soldier, a British guardsman, so orders were given, they were received, and we acted upon them. But I guess the good thing was it gave us, shall we say, boundaries, Joe.
Okay.
You not to step across those.
And how are you at giving boundaries to your own children?
I've learned a few skills now.
Yes?
I've learned a few skills.
Really?
Drill Sergeant Dad.
I feel like I'm reading between the lines here that were you a strict father, Ray?
No, I want some instructions from you because my daughter has me completely in the palm. Even she's 32 now, so she gets what she wants, and the son's almost as bad. So I need a drill sergeant, I'm afraid, but they're good kids.
Yeah, okay. And what about helicopter parenting? It's hard to step back. How do you feel you're going to go there, Benji?
Yeah, I have to enforce the rules because we're the opposite of what we thought would be as parents, where Zoe's quite loving and friendly and I have to be the strict one. So it makes it hard, but that's my job.
Well, I imagine at 6 months he really needs some discipline already. Well, some great advice from our dads. We've got more after the break.
Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Now, earlier we met Brent. He is right there. And we've taken him away from his friends and family and given him a full makeover.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an amazing thing to see him transform emotionally. We're about to see the end results. But first, let's take a look back at his journey so far.
Remember Brent? The devoted dad whose family dobbed him into us because he's had a rough couple of years and needs a break.
It's taken me to some of the darkest places I've ever been in my life.
I hope to see a confident man again, and I want him to smile on the outside.
Well, our Father's Day renovation project is all done, and the new Brent is about to be revealed to his family for the very first time.
Can I see?
Voila.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness me. Well, I'm so ready to see the results of your handiwork, Joe.
It wasn't so hard. It was pretty easy, really. I didn't do much. I just stood around and watched him. And I'll tell you what, it's amazing to see the transformation.
And how are we feeling?
Well,
you ready?
We've got their beautiful family standing by, Melody, along with Riley and Ollie and little Mela, who's been just waiting for Daddy to return. How do we sum up the mood of the family, though, Melody? Because this has been building up now.
It has. We're so very excited and so humbled by this experience, but we're really looking forward to seeing a beautiful, confident Brent.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think it's just about time.
Yes, I tell you what, I did spend a whole day with him. It was an absolute joy because do you know what? The whole time he was saying how much he loves you, Melody.
Aww.
And all he wants is for you to be proud of him. I'm sure that you are already.
I am, definitely.
All right. Are we ready to see the brand new Brent, everybody?
Yes, let's do
Let's
it.
bring him out.
Come on. Woo! Here he comes.
Oh, this is great. And your beautiful wife has been waiting to see you for so many days.
Oh my gosh, Brent, how does it feel?
Oh, it's overwhelming. It's amazing. I can't believe how many people are out here.
Oh, look, guys, the
family.
last time you saw your dad, he had a full beard. He wasn't wearing this. He didn't look like that. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah, I reckon he looks great, to be honest. Like.
What do you notice straight up, Melody?
Confidence plus. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, look, it wasn't me. It's him. It's always been inside you, Brent. This confidence, this new you that you keep talking about, it's always been there.
Now, the thing is, and as we learned, you had this car crash a few years ago, banged up your face, so you've been conscious of your tooth. You've been kept from actually seeing yourself in the mirror after the work of our great dentist, Dr. Luke Cronin. So we're going to zoom in now, and this is your first look at yourself in the monitor. Give us a big smile, big guy. There we go.
What do you think?
I think this is all about confidence, isn't it? Can you see the aura coming off him, Melody?
I definitely can, Ed. This is so amazing. We are very grateful.
Mate, we were talking during the last few days about how the dominoes have fallen, the wrong way for you and created some bad luck, one after another. This might tilt it the other way, I feel, don't you?
Oh, just the whole week, the whole journey, ever since my beautiful wife put me forward, things have started to change in my world.
Wow.
And, as you can see, I've been pampered stupid for a week, and I hope it is things to come.
Well, we're not done yet. He looks different, and we're not done yet, ladies.
There's a little surprise to come.
Absolutely. We'll keep celebrating the fathers right around Australia after this break. Another surprise still to come here on the House of Wellness. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone, to our special edition of the House of Wellness here at Parramatta. Did everybody have a good time so far? So. And Brent, the new look edition of Brent, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Ed. Look, mate, on behalf of all the dads in Australia, I'd just like to give a sincere and huge thank you to everybody. I hope all the dads will enjoy their weekend like I have. Highly doubt you'll be as spoilt as I have, but I'm sure you'll have something special to look forward to.
Well, you have been spoiled, and I do have a little thing to give to your lovely wife who's been putting up with your absence. A $500 voucher to go and spend at Chemist Warehouse, so you can spoil them as well, mate. Good on you. Go enjoy the family and enjoy the new look edition of Brent 2.0.
Yes, it's a gift for Melody as well tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that nice? What a great finish to our celebration of dads right across the land, you guys.
Beautiful.
Zoe, though, I've got to say before we go, those were some amazing ball passing skills you displayed earlier.
What can you say? I am a natural with the ball.
Well, we might do what they do in rugby league and go to the bunker. Turns out there was another camera angle. In fact, your husband Benji supplied this to us. Take a look. That missed. And right, and he's just laughing at you.
Okay, so if you were up against him, would you not cheat?
I'll probably just pretend to do a hamstring and get out.
Good call.
I'm up against Benji Marshall. Are you kidding me? Guys, it's been a great day. Thank you all so much for being with us to celebrate dads.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Grandfathers.
Big thanks to Gerald, Zoe number 2, Joe, the original, and my...
And you, Ed.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks to our friends at the City of Parramatta Council as well. To all our crowd here, thank you guys. You've been amazing. And thanks to our friends at Chemist Warehouse. We hope you all have a healthy and well week.
See ya.
See you soon.